I'm a bad motherfucker.
Matt, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Well, yeah, just let me build on that point you made there. I see those comments all the time that this guy doesn't know anything about psychedelics. He's never taken them or what. He obviously doesn't know about them. But as you said, you wrote books on it. You know everything about it. And I sent Jan a podcast the other day from shortly. It was a Rogan Duncan Trussell podcast from shortly after Jan's interview with Joe. Back in the day, and Rogan elaborates on how Jan is the expert on psychedelics, and it takes someone as intelligent as him to drone through documents and really So Jan is truly an expert, and even Rogan claims that Jan is an expert.
You know
so
what, dude? I downloaded that whole clip, so after you finish talking, I'm going to play that. And it's from Duncan Trussell, and I used to know Duncan Trussell, too. Go ahead.
And then let me also say that I think that because I have also done, I've never done DMT, but I have done mushrooms and LSD and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there is there's definitely something spiritual about it. But as Jan said, it's like a left-hand path type of thing. And you really aren't living in truth when you're in that whole culture. And people like Rogan heavily influence that. People have no idea how much a podcast like that gets someone to go out there and do that. So if there is a spiritual angle to it, which I believe there is, it's probably a negative one.
Yeah, you're probably, well, here's the thing is left-hand path is Satanism. Now, what I suspect is it really more shows you your own psyche, your own consciousness, and not true logos. I have had maybe one or two experiences that I would consider pretty phenomenal, but then you waste the rest of your life trying to get back to that rather than understanding it through logos and truth. And, and that was what one of the big experiences that I had way back in my early 20s showed me. And then I wasted years and years and years trying to get back to that. And it's just, name one person whose life is bettered by doing drugs, LSD, mushrooms, DMT, ayahuasca, MDMA, all of this stuff. You see them all eventually crash out. It's like their whole life gets put on hold, and then they're spending, 51 weeks a year to build this ridiculous thing to take out to the desert at Black Rock and burn it rather than building their life, building their future. So all of this stuff ends up in a dead end. So let's go to this clip here. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to share the audio here. Just a second.
I ran out of air.
It's at 3 minutes.
What a
here,
great
so
sound that is,
that.
man!
This
What
is
an
like
incredible sound!
I'll never forget that one-time performance.
No, I don't know. And it's something that I actually spent some time looking for because I wanted. It's something that stuck in my head too.
Jan Irvin, he'll have it. He has everything.
I was, within inches of going down to this ayahuasca conference that's happening in South America, and he's going down there. I saw him on the flyer. Yeah, I saw him on the flyer.
Jan's a great guy, but he's crazy.
Is he crazy?
I never went to that conference.
It's really weird to communicate with him. He will regurgitate facts at you without like connecting with you. You're not really communicating.
Yeah.
He's just regurgitating facts sometimes. Like we had him on the podcast. Like I couldn't get him to just have a conversation. It had to be like a lecture. It's like the way he goes into each individual subject it's like disseminating information like a robot. But he's a really smart guy.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want it to be. I try to tell people like when you come on a podcast, just talk to me, man. Talk to me like a real human being about like you do when I hang out with you.
Yeah.
When I hang out with you, you talk to me different than this. Why do you talk when you get on a podcast? Why does it all of a sudden become a lecture?
Right.
And some people...
Right. And I want to say to that point right there, because, when you're trying to present all of this information on MKUltra, the goal is to be as factually accurate as possible and not just spew a bunch of things and make dick jokes and then go, ha, ha, ha. It's very important information. And it's unfortunate that Rogan decided that his audience wasn't smart enough to handle the information.
Comics sometimes, if they're uncomfortable, it'll be that. They'll they'll be trying really hard to be funny.
Throw in those zingers.
Yeah, like planned out ones. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
podcasting is a tricky thing, and someone who is an expert on something like Jan is unquestionably an expert on psychedelics. Unquestionably. I mean, he's
And then later on, Rogan came out saying I was crazy, and here he's admitting I'm an expert. You know, I'm clearly an expert, he says.
If I had a question on psychedelics to anybody, I would bring it to Jan Irvin, but having him on the podcast was just weird. And I feel bad. I feel like I shouldn't have, I don't know, I shouldn't have tried to steer the conversation in one way or the other. I should have let it be boring. If I thought it was boring, I should just let it be boring instead of trying to, like, pump it up and make it more interesting.
Well, that's kind of the same thing. It's the tendency humans have to try to take control of the present moment, and podcasts are best when you're just in the moment and the thing starts turning into whatever.
Unfortunately, he thought I was trying to censor him,
Which he was.
Like, you know, that I wasn't
Which
giving
with
people enough
his
credit.
whole
And that's not what it was.
hit piece with Simon Powell and everything that I exposed about Red Ice Radio and all the behind the scenes, that it's clear that there was censorship going on there.
It's like he's to be someone who's like that sort of a researcher. Sometimes you have to have this almost incredibly droning desire to go over details in a way that a normal person would black out and go, stop, just stop. You know, do you not understand there's no entertainment value in this conversation?
Right.
You're breaking it down and making it like less. The subject on its own is like really interesting and fascinating, but you're somehow or another managing to pound it down into something lifeless and boring. And it's not that I don't want to hear the information. It's just like the way we're going about it here is so hard to listen to.
No, that's a very funny thing, what you just said, is the way that certain people will become experts at a thing, and the thing itself is beautiful, but somehow their portrayal of the thing takes all the life out of it, and it reminds me of what priests do.
Well, there's people that want to develop a staid, sort of an academic approach to things, and they want to be regarded in a very certain and particular way. So they're trying to do things in a way that they would consider to be very professional. And by
professional.
Yeah, I mean, I think their world is very different than our world. The world of the stand-up comedian is very different than the author world, the world of the serious, you know, psychedelic researcher. I mean, that's what Jan is. I mean, Jan's brilliant. I mean, don't get me wrong. What he does, he's fucking brilliant. And I like the guy. I just on the podcast, it just didn't work.
You know,
and I blame myself for a lot of it.
Don't blame yourself.
I really do. I should have saw it coming. You know, and it sort of damaged how I interact with him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I need to probably talk to him about it in person. Because I think he really just doesn't understand where I'm coming from. A lot of people don't know. There's a lot of people that tell you stories, and they're not that fucking interesting. You know those people? Mm-hmm. Not this guy, not Jan, but like I have a friend.
All right, I think that's the end of it
will
there.
Tell me, fuck.
Yep. Well, let me mention real quick a key point you hit on there. And actually that podcast is really interesting to watch, the dynamic between you. And when you're pointing out, don't dumb your audience down too much, Joe, because that's what he does. He goes,
I said that on the show, didn't I?
I know, it's awesome. And he just goes, well, I'm just a dummy and my audiences are just a bunch of dummies, you know, but no, you can think for yourself. You're a human that can think for themselves, and you got to be able to judge information to get through life. You got to be able to look at situations and figure it out. So you're not dumb to the point where you can't figure out that there's a deception going on here. But he always uses that all the time. I'm just a dummy. My audience are just a bunch of dummies. They're not.
Yeah.
They're just
and you know, I had about close to probably 1,000 emails from his audience after that. And this was in, 2011. And I haven't been friends with the guy since I went on his show. But I had about... You know, I left his place after that show furious, you know, and I never wanted to be friends with the guy again. And, you know, I had about 1,000 emails from his audience apologizing to me for his behavior. You know, that's like, took me weeks to go through all the emails, you know. But, you know, I don't know. The whole situation was sad and pathetic. And, you know, he knew that I was coming on to expose MKUltra, and I think he was trying to spin it and ridicule it and make me look like a joke or whatever, rather than, you know, allowing the information to just come out, you know. And I thought, hey, you know, this would be a good opportunity to expose this stuff. But it's unfortunate that he decided to become the mushroom and DMT guru and promoting the stupid stoned ape theory, which is complete garbage. That's, you know, again, out of the Piltdown hoax, which was one of the largest academic scandals in history, quoting air quotes with that, one of the largest academic scandals in history exposed, because, you know, when you see how academia runs and you realize all of these academic cells like that I've exposed in the Spies in Academic Clothing article, you see that most of academia is a fraud. So let's see. And there's just idiots trying to cause trouble. So anyway, do you have anything else you want to add, Matt, or should we wrap it up here?
I think this is a good point to wrap it up. I'm glad you got to address the Alex Jones stuff and that you allowed me to have my opinion on here. And I think you'll navigate through that situation wisely.
Thanks. And, well, you know, if Alex sees this, which he's told me he watches my show often, if he sees this, you know that I know that you know that I know type of thing. And, you know, I'll probably come on and I will caveat everything. And, you know, we'll, you know, I just hope that it doesn't result in me getting entirely shut down, but I wouldn't be surprised at this point. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in this morning. We had you know, it wasn't a huge audience, but we had close to 90 people in there this morning. Thanks, everybody, for showing up and for, you know, promoting the show. Please donate and please help the work. I can't do it without you, honestly. I'm going to post the link. Post the link in the chat there for people to donate and support the show. I really appreciate anyone's and everyone's support. Seriously, cannot do all of this without your help. And the more they censor me, the more support I need from the audience to be able to continue to do this. So please contribute, everyone, and have a great weekend. And thanks, Matt, for coming on this morning. I appreciate your time. And we'll catch you all later, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy.